Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Rosslyn Hill Chapel, a spiritual home for open minds. I'm Roger Mason, a chapel board member, and I'm worship assistant today. We have a creche for children aged 2 to 5 years and a children's program, Bright Lights, for older children. Babies under 2 are welcome in the creche if accompanied by an adult. Our choir is on summer break until September, and before I go further, there's a mistake that's crept in to the order of service. Our final hymn is number 149 in the Green Book. 249, thank you, John, is number 249 in the Green Book, Life's Great Gifts. Katie Gosling prepared today's service on openness and mitzvah, but she's unable to come today, so our chair, Alison Bybee, will read her address. If you're watching at home, please join us in the virtual side aisle at 12 noon for tea and virtual chat. The link was in the weekly email, and you can find it via the link in our YouTube description. For those of you in the chapel, to join us for refreshments in the side aisle after the service. Our bookcase library is now available, where you can borrow books about Unitarianism and other world religions and philosophies too. If you wish to borrow a book, please write your details in the blue book before removing it. At 6 o'clock this evening, we have our regular 30-minute mindfulness, and at 7 o'clock we shall celebrate the pagan festival of Lammas with music, poetry, reflection, and silence as we turn the wheel of the year. You can find information about these and all our activities in your service sheet and on our website. You can also pick up a copy of our Open Mind newsletter from the steward's table at the back of the chapel. This Sunday, our collection will take place during the service, as shown in the order of service. If you come, this is a change if you're regularly coming. You'll have an opportunity to make a donation in cash or by card. This month, the offering will be shared between the work of our chapel and our August good cause, which is street doctors who empower young people at risk with the skills to become part of the solution to violence rather than just being seen as part of the problem. You can find out more about this and our other activities in our Open Mind newsletter. We light our chalice as a symbol of our free and questioning Unitarian faith. May this flame be as the light of knowledge in our minds and the warmth of love in our hearts. And I also light another candle as a prayer for peace for the people of Israel, the people of Palestine, and in recognition of conflicts that are currently taking place in Ukraine and many other parts of the world. Whoever you are, and wherever you are on life's journey, there's a place for you here in our spiritual community. Whatever your race, gender, sexuality, class, age, physical and mental capability, we welcome you in a spirit of love. We come together each Sunday, and we like to get to know each other in this spiritual community. So please now turn to someone near you, say your name, and welcome them to chapel this morning. Listen out for the music, which will signal the time of speaking has ended. Thank you, everyone.
So Katie Gosling, one of our members, has provided this reading today. It's called Keeping Faith by Lynn, Ungar. It's hard these days to know what to believe in. I still pray to goodness, truth, and mercy. But I am starting to suspect there are stronger gods and war brewing on the mountain. Hope is still in the pantheon, but optimism slunk off a while back. Joy and her sister, Delight, still come around, and I leave the door open as I can. But sometimes it's hard for the soul to keep faith. I am trying to listen behind its high, anxious whine to prayers of the flesh. Tea, says the body. Rain, lavender, red leaves, pie. I can just read it. Yeah.
Use the next hymn, shall
All right, I'll introduce it. The next hymn is hymn 32 in your green book, Kumbaya. Please be seated. I don't see any children here today, but we do have a story for all ages that Katie Gosling has found. So I'll try and hold up the pictures so you can see. It's called It's a mitzvah. And it's by Liz Suneby and Diane Hyman, with illustrations by Laurel Molk. So there are lots of different animals in this. I think this is a meerkat, and these are mice, but don't quote me. And the three mice are asking, what's a mitzvah? What's a mitzvah? What's a mitzvah? Now on this page there's a bunch of monkeys. They're saying to this smaller monkey, hi, you must be new to the neighborhood. Want to join us on the monkey bars? It's a mitzvah. You're going to have to join in next time. It's a mitzvah to welcome new friends. Now there are a couple of big polar bears with a big tray of sandwiches and strawberries. I'm as hungry as a bear. Here, take one sandwich, or two, or three, or four, or five, or six, or seven. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to share food with someone who is hungry. Now there's a couple of deer. I'm getting tired. I guess I'm not a young buck anymore. Grandpa, would you like to rest under that tree? I'll wait with you. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to help someone who is older. Now these are a couple of beavers, I think. Whoops, one stick too many. I broke our cozy new lodge. No worries, we will rebuild it. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to forgive someone for making a mistake. Now these are kangaroos clearing up after a picnic. Let's recycle the plastic bottles. Good thinking, Joey. Please hop on over to the recycle bin for me. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to take care of the earth. And there's some rabbits building a snow rabbit. Peter, I found your mitten. Thank you. Has anyone seen my glasses? And one of the mice is wearing them. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to return something someone has lost. There's a big ostrich wading and a seal, I think. You are such a good swimmer, and I barely made it across the shallow end. You're doing really well. You'll be a great swimmer soon. I only wish I could run half as fast as you. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to cheer on your friends. There's a lot of mitzvahs. So here's a lion and a family of raccoons. Mr. Katz, we heard Lizzie is sick. Here's some homemade chicken noodle soup with oodles of noodles to make her feel better. Thank you, Lizzie will love it. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to take care of someone who is sick. And now there's a bunch of sheep, or a flock of sheep. It's so nice to knit for those in need. I hope this helps. One more. Thank you all for your warm thoughts and woolly donations. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to give tzedakah. Sorry about pronunciation, which is charity. Here's some zebras, one with a hula hoop. Hurry up, you're taking way too long. This one's looking at his watch. The one in the middle says, and wearing a peace symbol, there's no need to start a fight. Give Zoe 1 more minute and then you can have my turn. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to help make peace. Here's an elephant and a flamingo. Hey, Ellie, it's Friday. What should we do tonight? Ellie says, come to my house and share the loving spirit of Shabbat. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to enjoy Shabbat with family and friends. And here's a family of canines. I love it when you read us bedtime stories and sing us bedtime songs. I love it when you give us bedtime snuggles. And I love you all the time. It's a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to honor your parents. We know what a mitzvah is. We know you can't touch it. We know you can't smell it unless it's homemade chicken soup. We know you can't buy it. We know a mitzvah by the warm feeling of happiness in our hearts when we do good deeds. Mitzvah is a way of life. So we're going to sing the children's song.
Let us enter into a time of prayer and meditation. If you are holding someone in your mind, please speak the name so that we may all share your concern. Katie. Amen. And in our change to our usual routine, we'll take the collection now.
Could I just say that we're only reflecting once. There are two musics for reflection here. The second one happened on the 14th of July, which is when it says today is. So this may well be a collector's item. Thank you.
And let's now sing our second hymn, number 75 in the Green Book, God of Ages. And of nations, every race and every time hath received thine inspirations, spirits of the truth sublime, ever spirits in rapt vision to the guilty nations, spoke thine everlasting word. God, that word abideth ever, revelation is not sealed, answering unto our endeavor, truth and right are still revealed, that which came to ancient sages, Greek, barbarian, Roman, Jew, written in the heart's deep pages, shines today forever new. And now, during the music for reflection, you may light a candle of joy or concern in silence.
Thank you, Roger. This address was written by Katie Gosling. So you have to imagine I'm her. Today, I would like to share with you ideas around curiosity in opportunities for kindness and mitzvah. I first came across the word mitzvah when I was invited at the age of 12 to a bar mitzvah. My friend Sarah said I would really like it. She was excited for me to experience a Jewish tradition. She said I must wear an occasion dress, of which I had none. She kindly lent me one of hers, and I wore flower earrings and a flower hat with a flower on, which didn't suit the sailor-style dress. Everything I do it for you, by Bryan Adams, was #1 in the charts for the 10th week running, and it was played again. Everyone paired up for partner dancing, but I had no one to dance with. I felt small pangs of loneliness. I stood back and marveled at what I understood to be rites of passage for Jewish teenagers to mark a transition towards adulthood. Interestingly, I recently found out that these mitzvah ceremonies and celebrations mean that each teenager is now responsible for their own actions and can decide whether they want to continue practicing Judaism. I don't know, but I'm guessing most of them do. But the idea of teenagers and children choosing their religions is a very appealing one to me. So when Reverend Kate asked me if I could attend a mitzvah award ceremony with Margaret at the South Hampstead Synagogue in April, this is a memory I associated with that. There was an echo of the Bryan Adams song. I guess there is a loose link here in that the song says, everything I do it for you, and the links to mitzvah being a deed that is usually an act of kindness for someone else. The prompt of inviting Rosslyn Hill representatives came because of the Piece of Cake Day that the chapel hosted last year, which was a partnered mitzvah day with Queen's Crescent Association. The event offered a coffee and cake morning as part of the Big Help Out initiative. It was a chance to get people of any faith together over a cuppa to seek peace and harmony and inclusion and to help with a food bank. I like the way the poem says, "Tea," says the body. The awards event did point out the way that mitzvah doesn't have to be anything too complicated. Tea and cake is one of the greatest kindnesses. Maybe faith doesn't need too much more than reminding ourselves the universal needs of the body and each other's needs in nourishment. The awards ceremony recognized lots of different styles of events. The idea of having a specific day was founded by Laura Marks in 2005, where she saw similar ideas in Los Angeles. The awards ceremony itself was full of heart. As you went in, you could contribute to the food bank in the entrance hall. You then climbed down some stairs to the basement space. There were lots of nominated categories. Certain ones stood out more than others, but they were all amazing. I particularly liked the chef who had cooked around 24 hours or so for this community. He seemed to have some sort of glow around him and looked so happy to receive his award. I'm sure there is spiritual merit in feeding others. And there was another nominated winner who had gone all out to ensure inclusion throughout difference and disability in education. One of the speakers was from Manchester and talked about how her friends related to her kindness and ideas on politics in the world, having converted from Judaism to Islam. Margaret and I thought it would be great to organize a Rosslyn Hill event for Mitzvah Day, specifically which is on November 24th this year. Apparently, it is the largest faith day of social action, that key Unitarian phrase, for over 55,000 people. Examples of projects can be making dog toys for animal rescue centers, tree planting projects, litter picks, food collections, visiting care homes, clothing collections, writing cards to hospital workers, cooking projects, upcycling projects, and supplies to homeless shelters. We do a lot of these things already. I really love Ingrid's crochet and the pieces she makes and gives throughout the year as random acts of kindness to brighten people's days. I invite you now to take a few minutes to close your eyes and to sit quietly and think about the idea of kindness. How are you kind? What kindnesses could you offer? What kindnesses do you hope to receive? Or do you hope for others to receive? Is our sole purpose here on earth to find joy in helping others? Extreme, maybe, but I would like to offer that one with you. Please take a minute or so to think on what I have said. If you would like, you can turn and talk quietly to someone near you. When you hear the music start again, then we will finish this sharing opportunity. I invite you to imagine writing on a small piece of paper something you would like to do yourself as a random act of kindness or mitzvah this week. You don't have to share it with anyone, but you could imagine that you've come up and dropped it in this jug. Then, is that too confusing? Then, if you would like to write down an idea for Mitzvah Day here at the chapel, you should have a piece of pink paper. If we wanted to, we could have a small group to help run it. and just to assemble what ideas are there. If you need inspiration, you might like to think about how the Children's Chapel opens with open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. So if you'd like to bring up any of your ideas and put them in the bowl. Don't be shy. Thank you. You can bring them up after as well if you like. Or now. Or if you have an inspiration while I'm reading more of Katie's words. So Katie said, "At times in my life I have felt most rotten. I now see, looking back, that it was better, the more I wanted to close up, that instead to be open and curious why I was feeling that way. I feel tight sometimes and that things aren't fair. But these, I guess, are opportunities to reestablish balance with not looking inward too much or being too self-concerned. When I feel this coming on, I try to see what kindnesses I can do for others, and it does seem to work some magic in turning things around and softening the hard focus and intensity on feelings in myself. Is kindness then a greedy act? I don't know. What do you think? When people aren't kind, they are just living their own realities, and I hope to feel compassion towards their insular way of thinking. When I spend time consistently practicing meditation, I have what I would like to call a blue sky plexus. Someone at Death Cafe said this to me, and it stuck. I am open and ready to receive people's words and worries. This has to be the first step in kindness, surely. My mother-in-law likes Dalai Lama's words, or at least the team that helps him, she said. Be kind whenever possible. Kindness is always possible. I would like to close with a poem I found from the Mindfulness Association. It is called Kindness, and it is by Naomi Shihab Ye. Before you know what kindness is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment like salt in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved. All this must go, so you know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness, how you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop. The passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you learn the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you, how he too was someone who journeyed through the night with plans and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you know kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must know sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. You must speak to it till your voice catches the thread of all sorrows and you see the size of the cloth. Then it is only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you out into the day to mail letters and purchase bread. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world to say, "It is I you have been looking for," and then goes with you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend.
We come to our final hymn. Can I remind you, it's number 249 in the Green Book, Life's Greatest Gifts. We are all sisters and brothers who try to combine multitudes within our house of reconciliation. Go now in peace. And thanks to John for the music, to Ava, who quietly sends our services out on the internet, and to Charlie, who was our steward today and took on the job at the last minute. I'm very grateful. We now have our closing music, and if you would like to applaud, please do so at the end.